Full story. One part. Continuous. In a realm beyond ordinary imagination, there existed a kingdom called Everlight, a world where everything was alive with animation. Mountains shimmered like painted glass, rivers flowed like streams of liquid crystal, and the sky itself shifted colors like a living canvas responding to emotion. The people of Everlight were beings of radiant outlines and glowing forms, their bodies never fixed but gently animated by the world's inner magic. Every movement they made left behind a trail of soft light, as if reality itself was sketching them into existence. Frame by frame. At the center of this glowing world stood the Luminary Palace, a vast structure made of sentient crystal that pulsed in rhythm with the kingdom's emotions. When peace ruled, it glowed soft gold. When joy spread, it shimmered like a sunrise. And when danger approached, it darkened into a trembling violet that could be felt in the chest like a warning heartbeat. Everlight was ruled by King Solmir and Queen Leora, beings of immense radiant power. It was said that King Solmir's light came directly from the first dawn, the moment existence itself began. Queen Leora's voice could calm storms, heal fractures in reality, and restore fading colors to the world. Together, they maintained the delicate balance of Everlight, where light and shadow coexisted in harmony. They had one child, Prince Kale, but Kale was not like the others. While every citizen of Everlight glowed with steady brilliance, Kale's light flickered unpredictably, as if unsure whether it wanted to exist. Sometimes he would shine like a star. Other times, he would fade so much that even mirrors struggled to reflect him. The court healers said his essence was unstable. Animation, a rare condition, where a being's existence was not fully synchronized with the world. But what truly disturbed everyone was not Kale's light. It was his shadow. In Everlight, shadows were gentle companions, soft, obedient echoes that followed every movement without hesitation. They were considered harmless extensions of light, nothing more. Kale's shadow was different. It moved before he did. It turned when he stood still. And sometimes, when no one was looking, it detached slightly from the ground, as if considering leaving entirely. As a child, Kale tried to ignore it. He played in the sky gardens, ran through floating meadows, and laughed with other children as animated butterflies circled around them like drifting paint strokes. But even while he laughed, he could feel the silent presence behind him, never truly copying him, always thinking. One evening, Kale wandered alone to Mirror Lake, a sacred place where water reflected not only appearance but truth. The lake was said to reveal the hidden nature of anyone who looked into it. Kale knelt beside it. His reflection appeared soft glowing lines, flickering edges, uncertain brightness. But then something impossible happened. His shadow appeared in the water beside him, standing upright, looking directly back, and then it spoke. "You can hear me now," it said. Kale froze. "Who are you?" The voice was not heard through ears. It was inside his mind, like a thought that did not belong to him. "I am what you were never taught to see," the shadow replied. From that night onward, Everlight began to change. At first, it was subtle. A few citizens noticed their shadows behaving oddly, stretching too far, hesitating, or becoming slightly detached. Then entire villages reported something far worse. Their shadows were fading, not disappearing instantly, but dissolving slowly, like ink washing away in water. And with every lost shadow, something else vanished. Memories became unclear. Laughter felt empty. Emotion dulled. Like color draining from paint. The Luminary Palace reacted violently, its crystal walls shifting into unstable hues. King Solmir summoned the Council of Radiance, ancient beings formed from the earliest light of creation. "The balance is breaking," one elder said. The shadows are not behaving like echoes anymore, another whispered. They are. Awakening. Queen Leora turned toward the horizon, where the sky seemed thinner than before. Or something is calling them. Deep within Kale, his shadow grew stronger. It no longer stayed behind him. It walked beside him, always present, always aware. One night, standing atop the highest tower of the palace, Kale finally confronted it. What are you? He demanded. The shadow paused. I am your missing half. That doesn't make sense, Kale said. It will, the shadow replied. Then the world trembled. A crack appeared in the sky, not lightning, not light, but absence. A fracture where color stopped existing. From that wound in reality, darkness began to pour into Everlight, and something stepped through. It was not like Kale's shadow. It was not shaped by light at all. It was the Hollow King. A towering figure made of pure consuming darkness, with eyes like collapsing stars. His presence did not cast shadows, it erased them. I have returned, he said, voice echoing across dimensions. And this world will finally remember what it tried to forget. Across Everlight, shadows began to panic. They tore themselves away from their owners, fleeing toward the Hollow King like rivers returning to the ocean. People screamed as their shadows abandoned them, leaving behind hollow versions of themselves, empty, fading, incomplete. King Solmer prepared the final defense of light, but even his brilliance flickered for the first time. The balance was broken long before this moment, Queen Leora said softly. We only delayed it. Kale stood frozen as his own shadow stepped in front of him. You must choose, it said. Choose what? Kale asked, voice shaking. Light or shadow? I don't understand, Kale whispered. You were never meant to be only one, the shadow said gently. You are the bridge between what was separated. The Hollow King's darkness spread across the horizon, swallowing color itself. The kingdom was beginning to erase, not destroyed, but unmade. Kale looked at his trembling hands. His light flickered. His shadow waited. If I choose wrong? He asked. There is no wrong choice, the shadow replied. Only incomplete ones. Kale closed his eyes. For the first time, he did not try to control his light. He did not reject his shadow. Instead, he stepped forward and reached out. The moment his hand touched his shadow, something impossible happened. Light and darkness did not collide. They merged. Wave of radiant balance exploded across Everlight. Colors returned not as pure light, but as something richer. Shadows stabilized instead of fleeing. Light stopped burning and began to breathe. Kale opened his eyes, no longer flickering, no longer divided. He was whole. The Hollow King stopped for the first time in eternity. He hesitated. This was never supposed to be possible, he said quietly. Kale looked at him, not as a monster, not as an enemy, but as something unfinished. You were separated too, Kale said. Silence spread. And in that silence, Everlight changed forever. Because the battle was not between light and darkness. It was between separation and unity. And for the first time since the first dawn, they became one again. The kingdom did not end. It evolved.